You wanna do the roll call?
Sure. Roll call, the Taylor present. Beth is not present. Dottie is absent as well, traveling. Judith is absent. Trish here present. Janice.
Present.
Jan Shapiro is not present. Maud Trost is here. Rob Longstreet is not here, and Chief Ellis is here. I have David Franklin also absent.
Is there no visitors? We cannot approve the minutes, they're on form, but they're here. There's been some very well edited comments. Thank you very much. Old business. We can't vote on the plaques. If we don't have enough, but so we should probably just hold that discussion until next time. By the way, I won't be here next time. I'll be out of there.
What, did we plan on having a meeting in August or no? Because I know I'll be out of town back the first week of August. I thought that when we looked at the schedule, we were like,
Did we not?
I mean,
I'd have to look at my calendar. Hold up.
Because don't we get one summer meeting off?
so
so that would be-
I think
yeah.
that's the meeting, that's also the Tuesday that council's in.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Alright.
actually, I do still have it on my calendar, but I did not. But I thought that we talked about not doing August
That's the one off.
previously.
so yeah. You know, and I don't have it on my calendar for August, but I do for September, so
What was the date for September?
September 2nd.
So day after. Honestly, we're the seventh. It didn't matter. September 7th.
Okay, so no August then, right?
Okay. Signage, do we have any update on what we've brought in? Because I know haven't gotten calls from people on at least 4 donations.
Okay, so you want to talk about this?
Well, the
The
plaques
sculpture
we really
garden?
can't, plaques we really can't talk about because we can't vote to spend the money.
Well, I guess the only discussion point I think from my side would be what
Which
I
was,
sent out those links to
Mhm.
look at and the cost differences. For discussion, was there any one that I think it'd be better to eliminate the ones we know we're not gonna get in the commission, we're not gonna. do.
just everybody chime in, but just knowing that the commission had previously really looked at a lot and looking how much sturdier the ones that were recommended are.
For many graphics.
Yeah, that looks,
And I mean, they're also doing the Jerry Ross sculpture.
yeah,
garden
and they're right here as opposed to online that. So anybody else have any thoughts? Maybe we can't vote till next time, but.
Sounds like a partner.
You know, the sculpture garden sign update. So finance. I sent them the invoices for the one sign. And so they were handling getting them paid for 50% to get the project going, give them the thumbs up. So they've got the graphics. So everything's in motion there. So finance. What I asked finance was, the city had put up money toward it,
Mhm.
plus there was remaining budget funds to spend.
Uh-huh.
Because that budget money need to be spent, because now today's the first day of the new budget year.
Right.
So they were gonna take the rest of the budget, not public art fund.
Uh-huh.
The rest of your budget, exhaust that for the 50%, and then offset that with the money the city is allocating towards the sign.
Wonderful. So we still, so it did not need to touch anything that was in the public art fund. Yeah.
I was intentional based on the previous conversations to not use public art fund because that's donations. Use the money that was in the budget. As of today, that money is gone.
So do you have any clue or do you know what the public art fund is sitting at today? Because I know we've had some donations to it. I don't know. How
The last time, so as of today, I don't know the exact number. I can get into the software, look at it. I want to say it was around 1,400. And I think it was a $200 donation as well. So I don't want to.
200 before.
When I checked with finance a few weeks ago, there had not been very many donations.
All right.
So I don't want to
Right.
misquote the number, but I believe there have been a couple $100 donated recently.
Uh-huh.
So a ballpark number was probably $1,500 to $1,600, I guess, but I'll find out.
Yeah, if you can, that'd be great.
But I don't know that there have not been many donations is one of the things. In fact, at the time I checked, there'd only been one. And that was a couple weeks ago.
So I had,
including my small little.
yeah, because, and then
I
you
made
made
them.
one, I made one, I know that, Pam, said that, she had made one. And I've gotten calls from at least 3 or 4 people who said, okay, now, where do I send this? So there should be, I think, at least 7 donations, and I'm hoping that they're going the right place,
Yeah,
because,
so-
I did get a call from, Dan Warner, one day, he left a message saying, he'd gotten a call from somebody in finance saying, you sent a check, where do you want this to go? So.
That's helpful to know.
Yeah.
Let me check with finance. And then I'll email the commission once I have the number of donations and the dollar amount.
Hopefully, everybody is selecting the public art fund drop-down box if they're making the donations online.
And we'll only accept it if you mark a box, because I didn't mark my box at first, and it wouldn't take it until I went back and marked one of those, so at least there's that, checking it, but, yeah, so just making sure that any donations have gone to the right people, and if there aren't many, I mean, I can tell you who I know contacted me.
Yeah, you gave me a number around 7, so let me check the number and the
So
dollar
just
amount.
lease that, yeah.
And I'll,
Maybe not, oh, it's fine.
And so for the notes, so they took the rest of the remainder of the art commission budget plus something else for the,
supplemented from what the city earmarked,
oh,
in addition to the budget, which
So,
was the $5,000.
so we've not had to touch any monies in the public art.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because that's the only line that was gonna carry
Yeah.
over.
Great, thank you.
I had a slight update on the banners.
Okay.
So I have to go by Fast Signs because I'm sure they'll rectify it because they're good for it, but they gave us, I gave them all the sizes and the number, and they gave us we're short 4 shorter signs. They gave us 4 longer signs. So there's still 4 signs that haven't been replaced.
Oh,
Or
good, 'cause I
banners,
was gonna
sorry.
ask about that, up
Banners.
at Crossroads, yeah.
Yes, so there's 4 that I have to take them back
Okay.
the long ones. They'll probably just tell us keep those long ones, we'll just get you the one for it. So, but I believe that's, Public Works reported back that in fact, once they went to install them, there were 4 that were not accurate for size.
So, with the garden signage, should we start, I mean, obviously, we'll have at least one of the signs, the large signs. Needs to, I mean, I don't know how long in graphics takes, but should we start to hone in on timing and when we'd like to do the dedication?
yeah, can we get, an installation,
Mhm.
timeline,
Mhm.
estimated for whenever in graphics completes it
Yeah.
and whenever Parks is able to. I assume Parks is doing the installation or is in graphics doing the installation?
Do you remember when I sent you the invoice? I don't know if it was included in the install.
I don't remember whether the installers, but I imagine Parks would definitely want to be part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, so we should start to,
I'll find that out and I'll add it to the email when I find it on Public Art Fund.
okay,
That'll let us know when we can start.
yeah.
I'm sure between Public Works and Parks, I think they do this.
So I'm thinking that, in fact, maybe we should even start to ask. And I don't know what their timing is, but maybe contact Jerry to see when he hit with the census though. I mean, our next meeting now will be September, right? So if we want to plan an installation ceremony, we should be targeting October.
Yeah.
So,
It's nice weather.
it's nice
Yes.
weather. So, can you check with in graphics and Parks Department to see as if we had a meeting in October, whether they think that would be giving us plenty of time. And if you find that out, I can contact Jerry Welch to find out whether, when she's gonna be here. And we can just start to put some dates on our calendars.
Yeah, I've got those notes.
When do we usually do the Achievement of the Arts thing?
We don't have a specific date,
We don't, okay,
which is why we left it as in the fall,
okay.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you let me know time, I'll contact Jerry, just make sure that we can start to plan on ceremony. Even before our next meeting, at least get some things. If we're not spending money, do we have to have an official vote? Like, if we want to say, okay, we've got 2 months here, we think we're gonna be ready, if we pass some information around, can you at least go ahead and start working on the ceremony date? Not, if we're not voting to.
I mean, I think we're working on the ceremony
Yeah.
date.
Yeah.
You're making a call to Jerry, we're finding out the timeline.
Yeah.
So,
And also between now and the beginning of September, if there's something that we need to vote on, we can call a Zoom meeting and I can be on a meeting the first week of August if we need to. I just won't physically be here.
Yep.
all right, good.
I think that, I mean, my understanding is the option you can still meet if you need it to, if you are accessible.
Anything else on the garden side? Yeah, Achievement of the Arts nominations. We've got, anything else?
I've been forwarding every time I get.
So we've had what, 4?
Total of 4.
4, and 1 is for an organization and not an individual, so. Which also made me think, isn't the first there 100 years? So aside, or next season, so I'm thinking, aside from our achieving the arts, maybe we wanna find a way to officially recognize milestones with some of our arts organizations. I don't know how we would recognize that, but just to make sure that we take advantage of something like this, it'll be your 100th and Opera Theaters is its 50th, and just so we can keep people aware.
Do we do proclamations when it goes?
I would assume that the mayor would love to do a proclamation for the theater guild.
Yeah.
2026 is the 100 year.
Okay.
I think it's an important note to do.
We need to figure out a way to formally recognize milestones for organizations.
So in the history of Achievement of the Arts, we've never had groups or,
It's always been
It's always been
individuals,
an
and I think
individual.
it states.
It still
individuals.
stays individual.
okay.
Doesn't mean that we can't change it again, but we just need to change. So,
So,
Or maybe like just add another category, like do individual and then group, I don't know. It's as simple as that.
something, I'm open to it, but something I'd like to talk about another time. Personally.
so I guess we'll just, ask everybody to, I mean, everybody's gotten his, because everybody's gotten those nominations, correct? You sent it out.
I said, I
Okay.
copy and paste.
So-
nominations.
I'll send a note out to everybody to do their rankings before our next meeting. So,
I'm sorry, so what do you say?
I'll send a note to everybody on the commission to, you've gotten all the nominations, please do your rankings and send them in and put a spreadsheet together and get everybody's
Okay,
numbers.
are you gonna take care of the spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Or- Thank you.
And then we can make our selections at our September meeting and have a fall ceremony. Roundtable discussions. Those also I did meet with the association or Webster, Old Webster. This was very small, there were only 5 people there. They said usually there's 15, but they said in the summertime it just kind of dies. So what they suggested, they said that they think it would be really beneficial, that there would be interest to go through Fran Sue to come, and his friend would send out an invitation. That September, late September would be a good time, or at least that'd be probably the earliest that they would want to get together, once everybody's back from summer vacations, and they said very importantly, people's children are back in school and they have more of an opportunity. So their recommendation was to schedule a meeting for earliest late September. And met with Business Development Commission too, and I think that it's probably the associations that will have more luck with. Crossroads is, with Crossroads also, they're open as well. And again, would be to go through Fran to set up any meetings. So, and they are reorganizing up there, so, Paul would probably be a better time to meet with them also, and Maude, you met with.
The Business Development Commission, last Thursday, I think. And I forgot to follow up with you about that before, enough time, but the main thing that came out of that meeting, you know, was introductory. They didn't know about an art commission. I told them about the, Achievement in the Arts Awards, and Tira is staffing them, as well as, I thought it was interesting that they received 2 staff members, for one Sir Groves and one Fran takes minutes at their meeting. But I was at the top of the agenda, took 15 minutes to talk about the achievement in the arts, about the upcoming signage. I did not make a fundraising pitch. I don't know if it would have been appropriate, but maybe we should send out a fundraising pitch for the signage to board and commission members, if that's appropriate. And said that, and just explained that we're just getting to know each other. We want to hear how public art can impact business development, economic development in the city. And they suggested that there is it meets actually at 9 o'clock over at, on first Tuesday, over at, the annex, a group of like businesses that fall outside of just those key business districts. And it's an informal group where they want to try and get some comments and ideas, and they opened it up for an art commissioner to attend. Of course, it conflicts with our monthly meetings, but which I told them, but there wasn't any formal thing that came out of it, but they were very excited to hear about the achievement in the arts, and would like to. I shared the idea of meeting for breakfast, doing the roundtable discusussions, and how we had it targeted sort of geographically. So they're open to supporting it.
I think, and my takeaway too is they wanted to know what the difference was between Arts Commission and Webster Arts.
Yeah.
So we even had to,
And I did
And it's
explain
right,
that
yeah.
to them
I
specifically.
figured everybody probably has the same questions, and it's really just a matter of we need to get to know them and they need to get to know us. And so I had planned a breakfast or a meeting with Fran separately, just to say who, because I think Fran knows everybody, who makes the decisions, what's the best way to reach, what's the best way to communicate once we set a time and date, what's the best way to communicate and follow up. We were supposed to meet last week and then she needed to cancel, so we'll still be doing that. But if we can maybe target a day, a morning, that we'd like to start one of these in the fall, then we can probably talk about that at our September meeting as well. Because early September or late September would be about the earliest, but it's people I think are interested in open. They just don't know.
I think what would be great would be just to if somebody would just be in charge of what, like if we wanted to do 3 breakfasts or 2 or whatever, and then have one person in charge of each one, and like, I would be happy to take on a Crossroads District breakfast.
I
And
do
then-
Old Webster.
And not be overly, like, if somebody could make mine, but not the Old Webster, like, sort of have it open, sort of have it be geographically focused, but not strict in any way
Yeah.
to having conversations.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. If each of us would, have three of us take responsibility for being the liaison for that group initially.
And then, along, another update is next week is the Old Orchard Business Group, and I will be at that. Is it next week? It's on my calendar.
Good.
Unless somebody else wants to go,
I will be out of town.
right?
Sure. That's the July 8th one? Something. like
Yes, it is,
Yeah.
8 a.m. So I have it on my calendar to attend. And am I on the agenda? Do you know? I don't know how I got on the agenda for the last
I spoke with Fran, so do
Okay.
you wanna contact Fran and let her know that you can be there?
one. Okay, I will.
All right. So I'm meeting tomorrow.
Where does Old Orchard meet?
Here. Yeah, because it's an official
I
city.
see. Okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah, because they're, the commissions meet here. And we said if we met with just the commissions, if they had more than 3 people, would have to be formally reported, et cetera. But the associations are everybody, and I think what they said is, Old Orchard, actually, the association is very much, led by, the family that owns most of that property.
yeah,
Yeah, so, speaking with them would probably get,
do you know their name?
Are you talking about who owns the
Yeah.
annex? And-
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's the,
It's the
last
Hall
name is
family.
Hall, yeah.
It's the Hall family. But I don't recall that being the name of the fellow who actually is on the front, but anyway,
They had an, like a hand lotion
Yes.
candle business, and I think it was
K
part
Hall,
of that name.
yeah. It's all,
Is the K the name? I'm trying to remember
it's Karen Hall. Oh, okay, but they sold that
that,
and then
yes.
have all this, which is great, but
Actually, one other thing that did come out of the meeting, they asked me a lot of questions about opera theater. A lot, and it was, and which I was surprised, but you know, we had just written our letter, so I just said what our statement was, and they said that it was part of the city, a campaign that the city is engaged with in conversations, and Tira spoke up and said that she knew that there was one of the staff people at the meeting. She said that the city is in active conversations with leadership at Opera Theater to talk about it. But I thought that was it makes sense that the Business Commission asked a lot of questions and wanted to know what we were doing about it. And but it was good. It was a good conversation.
anything else for roundtable discussions? I think in the fall we can really get started. New business. One thing that I did get, this is not really new business, but I did get just an email from Marvel Park asking if any of us might want to volunteer for the Burr Oak concerts on July 11th.
I need to know what the time frame is, but I have it on my calendar to attend. It's the 11th or the 12th? I don't have it on my, I do have it on my calendar.
It's the Friday.
It's on the 11th. If y'all would like, she sent me a link to the volunteer page. I can send it to everybody in case anybody would like to. Any other new business?
Well, do you want to do a Webster Art Fair update? Cause that was, we handed out beer.
Yeah.
It was fun, yeah. I would volunteer, but I think I'd like to do a kids art table next time. It was good to hand out. And actually it's like I've met people around St. Louis that I handed beers to since the art fair. Like I run into them at other things, but I think I'd like to do that kids art table next year.
Which is what my husband and I ended up doing, because we couldn't make the time slot for the
Ah,
official beer
Uh-huh.
table. So yeah, we came later and it was fun.
Yeah.
And we ran into Beth
Mhm.
and her daughter were there. Yeah, yeah, so that was, yeah, I think that would be fun for us.
Yeah, that would be a good place for us to.
but all of them are good places to be.
Any community update, any other community updates?
Any updates about Opera Theater that you can share?
That I can share. They are still in the, they don't have to commit to, just, the Clinton property yet. It is, commitment dates are coming up. And so they'll have to commit to, obviously they'll have to commit to purchase the property. And then even after the property is purchased, then they can do even more plans to, and how they would fully utilize it. After they have basic plans. But a lot of it's gonna be, can they raise the money? It's gonna be, it would be a more expensive proposition to be there than here. These are just contingencies. I tried to share that there are contingencies on purchasing the property, does it fit, etc. And can they raise the funds to build, and to build and operate, because there are obviously some kind of costs there. They have looked at in looking to purchase the property. They have looked at if they were to purchase the property and it not, and then not be able to raise the funds if something would come up. What would the value of that property be? And they then sell it without financially damaging themselves, and they have determined if it could. So,
Okay.
yeah, because the property is very valuable.
The property is valuable, but it's also not an easy sell. It's very, like, once you get around to it, that could be it. I'm sure that they have real estate
So,
brokers.
so that even after the property is purchased, it doesn't mean it's a done deal. And even if it does become a done deal, it will be at least 5 years to raise the money and begin and complete the work. So it's a long-term process. So I hope if the sale does go through, if it is finalized, just give them a commitment. I know we can do what Webster University can do, just say, hey, we've got this theater, who else can we bring in to keep that place full? Other organizations have chance, so. Anyway, guys, it's what I can share, we're looking at least 5%.
Yeah.
And from that whole thing, like.
There's a lot
At one
of
sentence.
discussion going on.
Yeah.
Just like among even like small theater groups about, watching to see what opera theater does. Because it may or may not affect them as well.
Even if they do choose that property, they've not made a decision on whether they keep the opera center here or not. So, and that also brings in a lot of people working in the center and eating in our restaurants and going to our businesses, etc. So,
Was that letter finalized and submitted to
Oh, Dottie's.
Yeah.
I believe it was, yeah. Yeah, long-term out and still. There may be, even if that is selected, there may be portions, large portions that still. And city updates.
Just today's day one of the new budget year. And, it's a big week for Webster as always with, community days, carnival and parades. So, excited for all those community engagements. So, and then of course our fireworks show on the night that starts at 9:15. So, pretty much it.
Oh, and with the new budget year, depending upon what comes in to the public art fund, we can keep that money again that isn't allocated yet, that we might be able to. We don't need to have more, which is.
Yep.
Anything else?
I just want to share that, Burr Oak Festival, I wasn't able to stay the whole time last year, but it is just phenomenal. If you haven't been yet, it's a very intimate and the performances are outstanding for how it's really, another hidden gem.
I really wanted to go this year, but that's also the opening night for the Shakespeare Festival at the zoo. You already.
Want to go to that too. That's great.
Yeah, I had,
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
yes, yes.
The dinner.
And it's the guy who did the puppets for the Lion King
Yeah.
on Broadway, so it's really like.
It looks it looks phenomenal.
gorgeous.
Happy running.
I think for at least a couple weeks, but it opens that day, the 11th, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Anything else? For adjourned, we'll see our next meeting. Will be in September.
September what?
September 2nd.